If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz, and I'm here today to review the 2020 comedy Shiva Baby, starring Rachel Sennott, Wally Gordon, and Danny DeFerrari, directed by Emma Seligman. There's a type of comedy that got really popular, I would say, in the 2000s and 2010s that, honestly, I never really liked all that much, and that is, I guess it would be the uncomfortable cringe comedy. It's a comedy where you're watching a bunch of people getting pretty much humiliated or in uncomfortable situations, and the comedy derives from that. I think the most popular version of this is The Office, specifically the US version. The US version I didn't exactly enjoy, and I didn't really understand where the popularity with that is. I guess the uncomfortableness of most of the comedy just, I guess, made me uncomfortable, and I didn't really enjoy it that much, so that's probably where my feelings with that goes. But what makes Shiva Baby that type of movie? Well, Shiva Baby is about Danielle, who is played by Rachel Sennott. She's at a Jewish funeral with her parents. She basically has several awkward encounters dealing with her ex-girlfriend, Maya, played by Molly Gordon, and her sugar daddy, which is Max, played by Danny DeFerrari. And honestly, the reason why I don't like these types of comedies is I don't really find being in uncomfortable situations that funny. But I'm going to make an exception in this movie because I think this film is actually very funny for a few reasons. One, it shows the hilarity of a life falling apart. This film is a dark comedy of sorts, but it's not wallowing in that darkness. It basically shows Danielle's entire life as she knows it falling apart right in front of her in this small house where this funeral service is happening, and where she deals with her ex-girlfriend, where she deals with a current sugar daddy who is there, and both were not expected to be there at all. And the comedy is just basically her trying to actually circumnavigate through all this and utterly failing. And I mean utterly failing in this. And honestly, it's what makes this a hilariously uncomfortable comedy. Because a lot of this is just a bunch of conversations, a bunch of things that are happening throughout the entire movie. And honestly, it's just genuinely funny. A lot of it is kind of wink, nod, sex-based. It's not gross. Well, it's not gross for the most part. But there are some uncomfortable conversations and things that happen throughout the movie that are genuinely funny to watch. And what makes it really funny, honestly, is the supporting cast. The characters that are in the supporting cast aren't that deep. On top of it, this is like an 80-minute movie. It's very quick, so if you want to just watch a quick comedy, this would be perfect. But the supporting cast, even the mother, the father, a bunch of the family members in this service, they offer like really good comedic bits and things that just ratchet up the discomfort level more and more, but makes it much more funny as time goes on. To me, I think the reason why that this discomfort comedy works for me where maybe The Office does not. It felt like in The Office, I am laughing at a bunch of people who are essentially miserable. It just feels like they're just wallowing in that misery, where it's really the opposite in Shiva Baby, where, yeah, Danielle is having a really rough time, and she's making some very questionable calls, and she's doing some very questionable things in her life. But there is this sense that it will get better, and it's got that feeling of a story that you would tell somebody. Years later, you'll laugh your ass off thinking about it and talking about it, and basically just find it incredibly funny looking back, but when you're in it, you're not having a good time at all. Like, it's not a big deal that this is happening. It is awkward. It is a little embarrassing. Well, it's very embarrassing. But it's not something where it will utterly destroy her for the rest of her life. And there is that kind of comedy in that I really enjoy. That said, I think the ending could have been better if it wasn't a happy ending. Film, I think, kind of cheapens out on the ending, because I really think that if the film ended with Danielle just recognizing, man, have I fucked up. It's like, man, have I been making some bad decisions. And it just stayed there, where she can actually grow from that moving forward. I think it would have been a better ending, but they kind of give her a kind of happy, satisfying ending where I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's probably the best ending it would have come up with. I was actually genuinely surprised that this type of comedy that I generally do not like, but I found this actually very funny. So I thought this was a hilarious comedy. All right, so here are the footnotes for Shiva Baby. I've never looked at sugar babying as prostitution until now. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. But it kind of makes sense, right? Like, someone's giving you money to sleep with them, just on a more consistent basis. Or in some instances, I guess sugar babying could also be like you're dating or some. I don't know. I wouldn't even do it in the first place, but I don't know why I didn't think of that as prostitution and sugar babying as kind of the same thing, but they kind of are. So yeah, that's kind of all I have, really. So overall, I recommend Shiva Baby. I think it's a funny movie. I think it's actually very funny in certain spots. It's a type of comedy, again, that I don't normally enjoy, but I still found this very entertaining and funny. I laughed hysterically at a lot of the things that were happening in the movie. What I liked about this the most is, yes, I was laughing at the discomfort of this character, but at no point is it something that I think is something that she could not bounce back from. Might be exceptions, but generally I don't like. But overall, I do recommend Shiva Baby. Check that out on Max. It is a quick 80-minute movie, and I think it's well worth your time if you want a light, funny, and kind of sexual comedy. So check it out. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. Thank you for listening to this review. If you want to know what we're reviewing in the next couple of days, you can look on the screen right now to see what's coming up next. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and leave a like on this video. If you want to discuss your opinion on the film or the review itself, please leave a comment. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for listening. I will talk to you next time.